Physical Theatre Blog 4. Describe the games and exercises used to warm up and why they were used. Today we did a team exercise where we split into groups and we were given objects, and our group was given the object of a ball, a stick and a bucket and a tie. And what we had to do was make up a game using these objects. This exercise was used to get us to create a scenario around objects as a stimulus, instead of coming up with a game idea and then adding the objects in that we needed. Instead, we got the objects first and then used what we were given, the stimulus we were given, to create a game out of that. So it got us using our minds in a different way. Instead of creating the game and then bringing the objects in, we did it the other way round. How did you explore and rehearse in a safe way today? Think about how you use set, space, props and equipment. Today we had to make sure that there was no obstacles in the way that we could trip over and hurt ourselves, especially when doing the games. We had to use the props again so that we didn't hurt ourselves. But our game in particular, the person playing would be blindfolded, and so we had to make sure that this person had support around them at all times and that there was nothing around them that they could trip over, just in case, because obviously if they couldn't see, then they're in danger of tripping over and hurting themselves more. And so we had to make sure that all the space and all the props were put to one side so that the person wasn't in any kind of danger while playing our exercise. Describe the practitioner explored this session. The practitioner that we explored was Berkoff. Make notes on how this practitioner's work has influenced theatre performance, giving examples used in class or discussed. Berkoff looked at physical theatre, and so he looked at creating theatre around movement and how you could explore different movements to create a story. The reason why this is influential for other theatre performance is because it gives you, like the props that we used in the exercise, a stimulus. So if you could look at the 8 efforts, for example, and come up with some movement around, just trying out different movements, then you can look at what you're doing and what everyone else is doing, and you can create a scenario through that movement. It's also very good for expression. So you can do all sorts of emotion using movement. So some of the video clips we looked at, people who were sad, they'd go into a little ball, and the more confident people, they'd be bigger, and then they'd also do objects, use like people playing objects, so trees. People would stand there playing trees. That was quite effective because what they could do with that is then make the trees move, and that would create a sort of scene. So if you wanted to make the trees move in the direction of the other actors, that could add to the suspense, and like representing different things. So that was really good. What techniques did you explore? In the warm-up exercise where we had to create a game, we used techniques when looking at the props. So we would use our imagination, and then we would look at movement again. So how we could use movement in our game, in our different games. And then after we'd done the game exercise, we went on to do a mirroring exercise where 2 of us would get together and we would do different movements. So it could be like pushing each other, pulling each other, anything. So me and Amy, for example, we did where we pushed each other. and then we pulled each other, and then we we collapsed, and different movements that we explored. And then after we looked at it, we put scenarios to it. So the teacher would say, oh, now be children, or, now add a scenario that you think fits it. So me and Amy decided to be children, and that worked really well. So we did like children messing around, and we were able to come up with this story of children just based on the movements that we'd come up with. So we didn't come up with an idea first and then make movements. We did the movements and then came up with an idea. How's the practical lesson impacted on the progress and development of your skills as an actor? Definitely the exercise that we did where we came up with movements in pairs. That's helped me a lot, because if ever I have to come up with my own story, I find it quite difficult to just stand there and just come up with a scenario. And so it's helped me to explore different movements and then see what's happening, or what could we make out of this. And, it was easy for me and Amy to say, what scenario could we make out of these movements? Children playing. And in in a few seconds we'd come up with a whole scenario a lot quicker than sitting down and writing out new ideas. So it was a more practical and efficient way to work. What is your feedback on this particular style? We were told that our piece was very creative, that we'd worked well in creating, a scenario based on movements. However, at first we were told to stop discussing our ideas and just get on with it, and stop overthinking about it. Just do some movements and see what happens after, because at first we were getting into the habit of, we don't know what to do. And so to just explore completely off the top of your head without thinking about it, we were told to do that. What from today are you going to keep or explore further for the workshop performance, e.g. an accent? You explored a character